Hello and good afternoon, roller derby fans, and thank you for tuning into our doubleheader game today. We are live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for a doubleheader versus our friends from New England Junior Roller Derby. We are about a minute to go till first whistle. Our first game will be the Philly All-Stars taking on the New England Juniors. Skating today for our first game from New England, number 09, Rolling Rainbow, number 1, T-Rex, number 4, Elizabethan Tragedy, number 5, Mads, number 6, Fight Tiger, number 7, Toxic Drops, number 18, Dubs, 34, The Wolverine, number 50, Goldie Blocks, 5641, Land Shark, 100, Just Kai, 314, Embalmer, 417, Wee Beastie, number 777, Moxie, number 911, Wildfire, and number 7734, Slayla. They are all skating for our first game for New England. New England is coached by Case, Shocker, Tiny, and Smacky, and they are taking on our home team. This is your Philly Roller Derby Junior All-Stars. For the All-Stars for our first game, number 10, Tenacious K, number 1014, No Gus, No Glory, 13, Mills on Wheels, number 16, Stay in Your Laney, number 180, I Roll, 21, Pippa Ray Gun, number 26, and your captain, Bad Blood, 3377, Bee Sting, 37, Co-Captain, this is Holly Blockett, 444, Smashy Apia, 69, Steampunk, number 72, Chicky Kills, and number 99, Soul Crusher. Those are our Philly Junior All-Stars, coached by Teflon Don, Devoid of Mercy, Brett Rogers, and Irit Dirac. So we got those intros completed just in time. We are moving into the first jam of our first game of the day. Our teams are taking the track. Philly wearing the blue uniforms and No Gus, No Glory out to jam for jam number 1. And I believe this is Mads. Number 5, if my recognition of these New England skaters is still fresh in my mind, I believe this is Mads out to jam. I think I do see the 5 on Mads' arm. Our officials doing some last-minute checkups here. Looks like we'll be moving into our jam in just a moment. Stay tuned. We are slated to have our second game of the day around the 4 p.m. mark, Eastern Standard Time. Now, both of these teams who are competing today will be moving on to the Northeast Region JRDA playoffs. That will be happening this year in June 21st and 22nd in York, Pennsylvania, hosted by the Black Rose Juniors. That will be at the Ballyhoo Sports Academy in New York. Looks like our outside pack refs are taking their spots. Combo number 5 and Double Judge Double Wapner are among the 3 outside pack refs. Jam refing is Coach Boom from Reading, and we have Smash Ketchup, James Joyce, and I'm having a brain fart here. James Joyce, I believe that's Shebra, working the inside pack ref positions there. They're in the center of the track. New England Junior Roller Derby based out of Massachusetts, making the trek here for Philly for this doubleheader now. In just a few weeks, there will be another New England-based Junior Derby event that will be hosted by Northeast Uprising. That will be in New Hampshire. Bad Blood, No Guts, No Glory, just doing some pre-jam warming up. Hey, our jam timer gives that very powerful rolling whistle. That's going to bring us to our first jam of the game. Philly lining up with Pippa Ray Gun bracing a wall. That whistle brings us to the start of the jam. No Guts, No Glory versus Mads. And our jammers are off. No Guts, No Glory working his way to the top of the pack. New England has 2 blockers up top, but No Guts, No Glory is out with a Philly lead. Now our pack is stopped right around the jammer line. Here comes Gus on a second round of points. Has to take on 3 New England blockers. Number 18 from New England takes Gus out of bounds. That's Dubs. Gus fighting with that 3-wall and is out. And he's got the first 4 points of the jam. Initial pass still underway by Mads. Here comes Gus on a second round of points. Oh, Dubs with a block on Gus, but Gus, widely unaffected, stays on his skates, and he's got another 4. Holly Blocker coming in, working some offense for Gus. Gus gets another block there by Dubs, stays on his wheels, and has a third trip complete, making this a 12-point run for Philly. With a star pass in New England over to Mads. I'm sorry, no, Mads with a star stash. Mads did start with the star. My mistake. Gus is out with another 4. So in the blink of an eye, you're only a minute into the jam. Gus with a 20-point run. Just Kai goes for some blocking there on the apex on the inside. Gus gets past Just Kai. Now we have a star pass. Gus with another 4, making this 20 points. And New England passing that star over 18. This is Dubs. Now, New England so far has been unable to score and has not gotten the jam out of the pack. Pippa Ray Gun and Bad Blood and eye roll braced by Pippa Ray Gun in that 3-wall, putting a stop on Dubs. Dubs is taken down by Bad Blood. Pippa Ray Gun having a seat in the box. Gus is out. 6 scoring passes down. 28-point jam, 9 seconds to go. Let's see if Gus hits that 32-point mark. It's everything lined up, then there it is. Gus is out of the pack. He lets that jam run for the full 2 minutes, and it certainly works out in his favor because right off the whistle, we do have a 32-4 jam in favor of the Philly All-Stars. Now Beasting out on the line next for Philly. 3-4 pack in favor of New England. Pippa Ray Gun still seated for that penalty in the last jam. T-Rex, number 1, out to jam for New England. But Beasting out, making this 2 back-to-back leads for the Philly All-Stars. Smashy Apia working some solo defense at the top of the pack. But Smashy Apia is called off on a penalty, so she's going to have a seat in the box. Just as soon as Pippa Ray Gun is released, so Philly still down a blocker, Beasting out with the first round of points. Both jammers have broken out of the pack now. T-Rex in a point-scoring position, coming into that tripod, braced at the top of the pack. Pippa Ray Gun putting a block on T-Rex. Beasting out with another 4 points, so an 8-point jam so far. T-Rex taking a breather there on the coming around turn 2. Looks like this is Mills on wheels, bracing that defense against T-Rex. Here comes Beasting, gets through to the inside, getting past number 7734, Slayla. And now Beasting has a 16-point run with about a minute left to this jam. Smashy Apia working the butt of that tripod. Looks like there's a star pass from New England over to number 09, who's actually not on the roster. 09 is Rolling Rainbow. Rolling Rainbow now in possession of that jammer star. Beasting out with another 4, making this a 20-point jam. Philly now down 2 blockers, so Beasting has some limited offense on the track. Beasting is taken out and recycled to the back, gets in front of number 7, Toxic Drops, and Beasting with an incomplete scoring pass picking up 3 out of the possible 4 points on that pass. New England has 4 now with Rolling Rainbow coming out with another first scoring trip complete. So 6 seconds to go, Beasting fishes up another 4-point pass. Now Beasting with a 27-point run up against No Guts, No Glory's 32-point jam just a moment ago. What a way to start the game for Philly. 2 of their strongest jammers just asserting that dominance here just in the first 5 minutes of the game. So Philly now 59, New England at 8. And we have a timeout called by our officials. Our penalty box is clear. So the next jam we have will be 5-on-5. Our outside pack refs taking their positions on the outside here. So it looks like we're going to be moving into our 3rd jam of the game. Once again, Philly 59, New England 8. Philly started the game with a 32-point jam to open the game by No Guts, No Glory. Coming in now after Gus was number 3377 Beasting with a 27-point jam. Rolling whistle, taking us out of that timeout and back to our game. Tenacious K, number 10, out to jam for Philly next. And trying to get a visual here on the New England jammer. It should be on the scoreboard here in just a moment. Okay, this is Elizabethan Tragedy, number 4. And Elizabethan Tragedy goes to the inside, but it's taken up by Iro. There's a track cut hand signal being issued by somebody. So number 10, Tenacious K, is out, making this 3 leads back-to-back for Philly. Tenacious K gets a stumble there coming around turn 1 on the pivot line, and she is going to recycle to the back of the pack. New England brings their defense to the bottom of the pack as well. And a back block is going to put Tenacious K in the penalty box. So Philly losing lead, and we're going to a 2-minute game, a 2-minute jam. Elizabethan Tragedy breaks out of the pack. Iro working some defense on Elizabethan Tragedy. Elizabethan is going to be recycled to the back. Elizabethan back in action now. Philly holding out time for Tenacious K to finish that back block penalty she's currently seated for. And Tenacious K tries to get, Elizabethan Tragedy, I should say, tried to sneak through on the inside line, but is called off on a track cut. So Tenacious K not having lead, but now does have the first 4 points of this jam. And Philly looking at a power jam. They're currently down their jammer and a pivot. Dubs and Just Kai working some 2-on-1 defense there against Tenacious K. The illegal contact penalty going to be given to Just Kai. I'm not sure if they went out of play. Tenacious K out with 4 points now with an 8-point run. Power jam complete now. Elizabethan Tragedy coming back in from that earlier track cut. It looks like Stanier Laney is bracing a tripod. We go to 2 minutes. Nice round 12-point run there. Brings Philly up to 71. +1 for New England by Elizabethan Tragedy, putting New England at 9 points for the game. No Guts, No Glory back out there. Each of our teams down a blocker, so it's some 3-on-3 pack. Wee Beastie now with the jammer star from New England. This is 4-1-7. No Guts, No Glory is out with lead jammer. Smashy Apia ganging up with Chicky Kills. And Pippa Raygun putting a block on Wee Beastie. Wee Beastie taken out and recycled to the back. Here comes No Gust, No Glory, putting 4 points on the board. Now coming in for a second scoring trip, and he is out with another 4. So as we saw, Gus began our game with a 32-point run for Philly. This is his second time out to jam. No Gust, No Glory comes in just high, getting in the way of Gus. Just as Philly loses Chicky kills to a forearm penalty. No Gust, No Glory brought to the bottom of the pack. And Gus through on the inside. He's got another 4 points, so this is 12 more points now for Philly. Not too many points behind the century mark. Smashiapia having a second trip now to the box. No Gust, No Glory working on a 4th scoring trip. And I believe there's a forearm penalty called on Gus. That's going to bring us to another 2-minute jam with Gus seated for the forearm. New England now has their jammer breaking out, completing the initial pass. This is Wee Beastie. Wee Beastie has a power jam right now. Philly also down 2 blockers. Lends a significant advantage here to New England, so Wee Beastie putting down a 4-point pass. Smashiapia's time finishes up in the box, so Smash rejoins the game. Wee Beastie moving to the inside is taken down by Pippa Raygun. Now Pippa Raygun skating to the back to draw that track cut. Gus No Glory finishes his time for that forearm. He can't call the jam. He's got 4 more. There's 2 minutes. That ends the jam. So 16-4 there in favor of Philly. Philly now at 87. 6-point jam altogether by New England. They are at 15 points. Beasting out the jam for the second time for Philly. Now Beasting on their first jam had a 27-point go. The Wolverine out the jam. Now right off the whistle, a back block is given the Beasting, so there will be no lead for Philly. The Wolverine, number 34, on what is basically going to be a power start for New England with Beasting seated in the box. Bad Blood and Iroh ganging up on the bottom of the pack against the Wolverine. The Wolverine taking on a bounce to the inside. Philly using their defense to force the Wolverine to stay on this initial pass, while Beasting is now on the last 10 seconds of their penalty. So the Beasting is released and rejoins. Now Beasting has not completed the initial pass. Oh, Bad Blood taking the Wolverine down. The Wolverine is lead for New England. Bad Blood shrugging off that penalty, saying, hey, no harm, no foul. The Wolverine on a scoring pass is taken on a bounds. Beasting coming in from that back block. Beasting completes their first round of points. The Wolverine gets 4 and calls off the jam. So 4-4, both of our teams. Looks like Tenacious K back out there to jam for Philly. Number 5, Mads with the Jammer Star for New England. 1991, 91-19. Either way you say it, it's a palindrome score. Tenacious K versus Mads. 5-on-4 with New England with the pack advantage. Bad Blood just finishing up some time in the box. Tenacious K is out, gets past Layla, and is our lead jammer. So this is jam number 6. Of these 6 jams, Philly has had lead for 5 of them. Tenacious K making quick work of that scoring pass, puts 4 points on the board. Now Philly 5 points behind that 100-point mark. Here comes Tenacious K for a second run. Slayla taking Tenacious K out of bounds to the outside and bringing Tenacious K all the way to the back. Tenacious K restarts the scoring pass. Now Mads doing some 1v1 blocking on Tenacious K. Tenacious K, though, making her way to the top of that pack. New England forms most of their defense at the top of the pack, though, trying to slow down Tenacious K. Tenacious K, though, does get out with another 4. Rolling Rainbow now with that jammer star. Second time receiving that star pass, but New England jammer is still stuck on this initial. So Tenacious K, still lead jammer coming in. Nice elevator door move by our New England blockers at the top of the pack. New England forms a tripod, but there is a penalty going to be assessed to Mads. That's going to thin things out for Tenacious K. Tenacious K is out with another 4, and Philly has broken that 100-point mark. 30 seconds left to our jam. Tenacious K gets through on the outside, so this is a 16-point run by Tenacious K. Rolling Rainbow not getting any mercy behind that Philly tripod. Steve Punk racing that tripod at the bottom of the pack. That jam is over, 20-0 in favor of Philly. So Philly at 111, New England at 19 with their first scoreless jam of the game. No Guts, No Glory back out there taking on Elizabethan Tragedy. And as fast as we can even say his name, No Guts, No Glory gets 2 whistles and is our lead jammer. Oh, nice defense by Just Kai. Taking Gus out of bounds to the inside. Make that a ×2. Dubs with a defense there on Gus. Now Gus comes out of there with an incomplete pass. Gus does have now for 8-point run. Coming in that pack, full speed ahead. Now make that 12 points with another 4 points on the board. Gus just busting out scoring pass after scoring pass here. Another 4 making the 16 now. Here comes Gus on another trip. Just Kai working some defense, tries to slow Gus down, but Gus out with another 4. This is now a 20-point jam by No Guts, No Glory. Goldie blocks with a little bit of a hip check there on Gus, but Gus out though. This is 6 scoring passes down, making this a 24-point jam. As you know, Gus began the game with a 32-point run, so let's see if Gus will break that record. It looks like it's a very real possibility because there's about 25 seconds to go to this jam. Okay, Gus makes it through, matching that 32-point jam. All said and done. 32-4 in favor of Philly. Okay, coming in, last few seconds of that jam, there were 8 points altogether by New England, so they're at 27. Philly, 143. Okay, now there's a timeout called. Of the 143 points that are currently on the scoreboard here for Philly, Gus has 80 of those, which is about 56%. So Gus scoring a little over half of the points so far in the game. Now beasting back out. And this is Landshark out the jam for New England. Landshark number 5641. Beasting has lost their jam ref. Here comes Boom catching up with Beasting. So Beasting is our lead jammer for Philly and now has the first 4 points of the jam. Now Beasting coming in. New England walling up with all 4 of their blockers. Looks like Slayla taking Beasting out of bounds to the inside. Beasting recovers, gets back in, gets a block to the outside by Mads, but Beasting stays in bounds and has another 4. Philly lines up their offense, helping Beasting get through the pack. Beasting is out now with 4 more, so a 12-point jam so far. Minute to go for Beasting. Beasting gets looks like Beasting is taking a bounce to the inside. So Beasting now with 16 points. Landshark does complete this initial pass, so Bull Jam is able to score. Landshark is taken down by Pippa Raygun at the back of the pack. Pippa Raygun, one of our Team USA skaters headed to Australia later on this year for JRD World Cup. Slayla working some defense on Beasting. Now number 34, the Wolverine, tries to go for a block, but Beasting just stays up on their skates and puts 4 more up. So Beasting with a 20-point jam. Slayla tries to take down or put some block on Beasting, but Beasting gets past Slayla, finishes on a scoring pass. Here comes Beasting once again. Beautiful toe stop work by Beasting on the inside line, stays in bounds and gets 4 more. So 7 scoring passes, making this a 28-point jam for Beasting. That's going to take Philly to 171. New England has a scoreless jam. They are at 27 points. Tenacious K with that jammer star taking on Wee Beastie. Our penalty box is empty, so this is a 5-on-5 jam start. Goldie Blocks tries to slow down Tenacious K, but Tenacious K is out with lead jammer now. This is Tenacious K's 3rd time out the jam and 3rd time getting lead. Nice defense by Iroll, taking Wee Beastie out of bounds to the outside. Tenacious K is out. Stadium Lane take on a bounce to the inside. Tenacious K is through. Wee Beastie also completes initial pass, so Bull Jammer is able to score. Just Kai proving to be a nemesis for these Philly Jammers. Just Kai with some amazing defense there against Tenacious K. Now Goldie Blocks in a 2-wall. Pretzel move. Now being joined by number 18, Dubs, against Tenacious K. Tenacious K, though, does get past those blockers and puts 4 more. Oh, no. Tenacious K erroneously leaves the track, but was not given a penalty. Just Kai goes for a block on Tenacious K just as Shebra issues an out-of-play call. Looks like that actual block, though, was still in place, so no penalty will be assessed. However, Tenacious K is recycled to the whole back of the pack, and now she is taken down on the inside. Just Kai certainly seems to be figuring out some of the weak spots of these Phillies Jammers. Sadner Laney called off on a penalty, and she has a seat just as the jam comes to an end. So 8-4 jam here in favor of New England. That 8 points going to bring New England up to 35. Philly 179. Elizabethan Tragedy out there. Number 4 for New England. And no Gus, no Glory out the jam once again for Philly. And Gus is out with lead jammer. And Elizabethan Tragedy gets through on the outside, finishes that initial pass. So both jammers now able to score points. Elizabethan Tragedy making her way to the top, but is getting some 1v1 blocking, some shoulder blocking there by Smash Iapia, and Philly Brawl Stars. We expect that to start around the 4 p.m. Eastern Time mark. Again, we are live coming to you from Northeast Racket Club here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Join us either here in person or on our live feed the weekend of May 17th and 18th for our annual Philly Hoagie Roll hosted by Philly Juniors. That is our annual tradition of a two-day tournament. Not too familiar with who all is going to be participating. I know, of course, Philly, and I believe the Pittsburgh Derby Brats will be competing in that as well, but I don't have the full list of teams. That will be released shortly, I'm sure. Looks like our refs are taking their positions here on the outside. I don't know if we're going to move into the injury protocol. Okay, coming off of that injury timeout. Philly down 2 blockers, Stanier Laney and Smashiapia in the box. So 2-4 pack in favor of New England, and Beasting out there taking on Mads. Beasting gets 2 whistles and is our lead jammer. Mads with an incomplete initial pass there. No pass, no penalty. Beasting with 4 points. Mads stuck on this initial. There's a star pass over to number 18, Dubs. So Dubs is out now after that star pass. Beasting on their second scoring trip. And Beasting is out now with the 8 points so far. Mads fighting with that 3 wall of Philly blockers. Holly Block in the back and Smashiapia working the butt of that. Stanier Laney bracing that tripod. So Dubs has 4 points on the back end of that star pass. Now Dubs is out colliding with Judge Double Wapner on the outside. Beasting finishes a 3rd trip, making this a 12-point run so far. And Dubs with 4 more points, and Beasting issued a track cut. So Beasting now in the box. 2-minute jam and a power jam in the hands of New England with Dubs jamming solo. Now Dubs does not lead, so there's no chance for a call-off. Stanier Laney was bracing that tripod, but she is called off on a pack destruction. Right behind Stanier Laney, eye roll. So Philly down 2 blockers. Beasting re-enters from the earlier track cut. Dubs tries to go for a block as a jammer on Beasting. Dubs has 2 more points at the end of that jam, so I believe this is going to be their highest scoring jam in the game. Dubs with those 11 points. That brings New England up to 48. Beasting with a 16-point run. Philly now at 203. Two to 4 pack in favor of New England with Stanier Laney and eye roll having a seat in the box. The Wolverine out there taking on Tenacious K. And the Wolverine is called off. Let's see what that hand signal was. That was either a track cut or a back block. And Tenacious K breaks out of the pack, is given lead kind of late after about half of the trip, so that's okay. Tenacious K is lead jammer. Pippa Raygun now having a seat in the box to join lead Holly Blockett. Looking at a pretty full penalty box. New England down 2 blockers and a jammer. Philly down 2 blockers. So Tenacious K on a power jam. Eye roll going back in. Our penalty box is pretty well full. Holly Blockett has a stand. Pardon me. Eye roll takes a seat. The Wolverine breaking out of the pack with a not lead, completing their initial pass. Tenacious K with a 12-point run. Holly Blockett was released, but is now going back to the box. 4 points by the Wolverine. Now, Wolverine is not lead, but does have those 4 points. Tenacious K still lead jammer, putting 4 more points up, making this a 16-point jam. Now, Tenacious K had a 16-point jam here about 2, maybe 6, 7 jams ago. Tenacious K now breaking that run. Eight points from New England brings them up to 56. 20 points by Tenacious K. Bring Philly to 223. And a timeout is called by our officials with about 3.5 minutes left to our first half of our first game. Currently looking for our next jam here. It's going to be 3-4 in favor of New England with Stay Near Laney currently seated in the box. Pivot ray gun. Pippa taking the pivot cover. No Gus, no glory with the star. Still in this timeout here by our officials. Okay, coming out of that timeout by our officials. I believe we're about 3.5 minutes left to our first half of our first game of the day here at Philly. No Gus, no glory, and Mads. Mads number 5, No Gust No Glory is out with lead jammer. Pack advantage here in the hands of New England. Philly currently down. Stainer Laney in the box. So Gus is our lead jammer. Avoids that block by number 7, Toxic Drops, and he's got 4 points. Pippa Ray Gun. And Mills on Wheels. And Smash the Apia. Our 3 blockers in that tripod. Taking Mads out of bounds. Just Kai slows down. No Gus, no glory, but Gus does get that 4-point pass complete. So Gus now with an 8-point jam so far. Star pass from New England over to Fright Tiger. This is our first time seeing Fright Tiger's first time with the Jammer Star. This is number 6 from New England. Gus putting down 4 more points. Now make this 4 more. So Gus with a 16-point jam. Not over yet. About 50 seconds left to this jam. Mills on Wheels taking a seat in the box, and Fright Tiger also having a seat as the jammer for New England. So this is a power jam now in the hands of Gus. Gus now looking at 20 points with 37 seconds to go. Pippa Reagan working some offense, clearing out a hole there for Gus. Gus now with a +4, 24 points. Gus taking that tripod, but he signals the call off. 2 ghost points and 2 points for No Gus, No Glory. So +2 for Gus. All said and done, a 26-point jam. +2 for New England, they're at 58. And it's a power start in the hands of Philly as Fight Tiger seated for that track or that penalty. I can't say it was a track cut. I didn't actually catch a hand signal. So it's a power start in the hands of Beasting. With 1:10 left to our first half of the game, 2 whistles means Beasting as our lead jammer. Holly Blockett working some defense, keeping Fight Tiger stuck on this initial pass. Fight Tiger trying to get through, but Philly with a fluid defense just matching their move. Beasting now with 4 points. Track cut given the Fright Tiger. Okay, so the game clock scoreboard says Fright Tiger. My roster says Fight Tiger, so one of those obviously is going to be wrong, and I do apologize if it is in my roster. So Fright Tiger currently seated for a track cut. Lending a power jam over to Beasting. Beasting does get some blocking here right around turn 3 by Philly's blockers. Now looks like Beasting is out, gets ahead of Goldie Blocks, and boom, throwing up 4 points for Beasting. So Beasting now looking at an 8-point jam. Our period clock just seconds to go. Beasting now on another scoring trip. Just Kai figuring out the weak spot in these Philly jammers. Oh, Beasting just tries toe stop on the line, but does ultimately go out of bounds by a matter of inches. Beasting recycles, restarts that pass, comes out with another 4. So this is a 12-point run for Beasting. Period clock has expired, so the end of this jam will bring us into halftime. Just Kai with some 1v1 blocking on Beasting, takes Beasting out of bounds to the outside. Just Kai skating to the back, forcing Beasting to recomplete this pass. So Beasting takes a step out of bounds on the inside, thanks to that block by Dubs. Our penalty box is clear, so we are at some 5-on-5 derby. Fight Tiger stuck behind the tripod, held up by Soul Crusher. Beasting looks like all said and done. Might have 4 more points. Let's see. And there's an official review being signaled by the New England bench. So let's see what the outcome of that is going to be.
All Stars and something.
They might use Skatriots, but I don't know if that's still their name. It was at one
That
point.
was all championship stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. What's going on? Philly by Steampunk. Also out to jam for the first time today. Although we do see her jam more and more often. This is number 16, Stay in Your Laney. And Wee Beastie with the star here for New England. Number 417. Our penalty box is clear, so both teams at full strength. Okay, that whistle ends the timeout. We are not in our jam yet. The next whistle we hear will start this jam. Second jam of our second half of our first game of the day. Once again, Stay in Your Laney taking on Wee Beastie. And that whistle brings us to the races. Wee Beastie, oh no, that was the pivot. Wee Beastie does get out ahead of Stay in Your Laney. Second lead in the game for New England. Wee Beastie is in control. Stay in Your Laney getting some blocking by New England's defense. Pippa Raygun coming in, working some offense, making the hole. But that tripod, or that 3-wall, catching Laney once again. That tripod turning into a 2-wall. Slayla with that pretzel, along with 5-6-4-1 Landshark. Stay in Your Laney does make it out. Right now, Philly, though, getting a hold of Wee Beastie, catching Wee Beastie on their first scoring trip. So Wee Beastie does have 4 points up against a scoreless jam for Philly. So Tenacious K out there now. And number 5, Mads, has a star for the New England Riptide Riots. Once again, 5-on-5 jam, both teams at full strength. Number 10, Tenacious K versus 5. This is Mads. And right off that whistle, Tenacious K finds her way through the pack. She gets past Goldie Blocks, gets 2 whistles from Smash Ketchum. That means Tenacious K is our lead jammer for Philly. Now Tenacious K coming in, enters the pack on the inside line, moves to the middle, ultimately gets taken out of bounds and recycles to the back. So Tenacious K now once again retrying her hand at this first scoring pass of the jam. Dubs working some defense against Tenacious K now. Just Kai goes to brace the tripod, and Just Kai does make some contact with Tenacious K, but Tenacious K stays in bounds and picks up those 4 points for Philly. And number 99, Soul Crusher with a block on Mads, taking Mads out of bounds to the inside. Tenacious K on a second run, but it's taken out of bounds by Just Kai. Just Kai certainly learning how to take some of these Philly jammers and slow them down. Tenacious K completing a second scoring trip. Smash Ketchum holding up 4 points. So it's an 8-point run for Tenacious K. So far, New England unable to score. There's a star pass for New England over to Dubs. Dubs doesn't have that jammer star yet. Dubs actually gets a little bit of contact there on the outside, does a barrel roll, but nothing really comes out of that. Everyone's back up on their skates. So Dubs re-enters at the back of the pack. No Guts, No Glory is bracing a tripod. Dubs gets past that tripod. Smashiapia and Soul Crusher working in. Now Soul Crusher at the top of the pack, but Dubs is out. So Dubs finishing that initial pass. Tenacious K finishing some time in the box. Both jammers come in. And Tenacious K comes in, takes a bit of a spill in the middle of the pack. 4 whistles, ends the jam. 2 more points rolling in for Tenacious K. So this may be a 10-point run. It is. So that brings Philly to 287. And 3 points for New England brings them to 66. And let's see, this may be Steampunk 69 back out there to jam for Philly. We didn't see Steampunk jam at all in the first half, but this is Steampunk's second time with the star. Steampunk gets Some defense by Toxic Drops, but Toxic Drops left just enough room on the outside line for Steampunk to get through and get lead jammer for Philly. So Steampunk rides the inside line on that block by Slayla. Once again, stays in bounds and has those 4 points. Philly setting up a tripod at the bottom of the pack against Elizabethan Tragedy, who started that jam, but it looks like maybe in the midst of a star stash. No, there is an underhanded pass of that star over to the pivot. So the star pass is not official yet, but that is going to number 09 Rolling Rainbow. Steampunk out with 4 points. Now Rolling Rainbow does have that star, so the star pass is public and official. Beasting and Bad Blood lining up on the line, closing up that hole on the outside, forcing Rolling Rainbow to restart this pass. Steampunk out with 4, so this is a 12-point run. Elizabethan Tragedy called off on a back block after that star is passed, so she will sit as a blocker. Rolling Rainbow taken out of bounds and brought back by I-Roll. And Bomber has some defense there against Steampunk, but Steampunk does come out and complete a 5th scoring trip, making this a 20-point jam. Steampunk started the second half with a 12-point jam. Now Steampunk with a 24-point jam, doubling that first jam that they skated in. So Steampunk goes in, kind of tries to roll around the 2-wall, but ultimately does go out of bounds, albeit by a few inches, and has to recycle. So Steampunk recycles to the top, recompletes that scoring pass just in the nick of time, gets those 4 points. This is a 28-point jam by Steampunk. That brings Philly now over that 300-point mark. They were at 315. New England scoreless. They're at 66. Staying their Laney out to jam once again. The Wolverine out to jam. This is number 34. Staying near Laney gets 2 whistles. That means she is lead jammer. Now Laney coming in full speed ahead into that pack. Moves to the outside and is taken out of bounds. I think that was just Kai with that defense. Stadium Lady rolling with those blocks. Just Kai proving to be a jammer's nightmare for Philly. Slows down Laney, but Laney does break out with another 4 points. I'm sorry, this is actually Laney's first 4 points of the jam. So Laney on a second scoring trip. The Wolverine is out, completing the initial pass. Standing Laney still lead for Philly. Oh, and Laney taken down. Just Kai, once again, working some defense on the outside line. So Laney recycles to the back. Just Kai with some 1v1, putting out those feelers. Now Laney gets past Just Kai and has to deal with this tripod of New England blockers, held up and braced by number 18, Dubs. Stadium Laney not getting any help from her teammates to get through this tripod. They are effectively slowing her down. Laney giving that tripod everything she has, and she is out. +4 hard-earned points for staying near Laney from Philly. She is still lead jammer now. She is coming in. I-Roll bracing a tripod at the bottom of the pack, keeping the Wolverines stuck. And the failure to reform penalty is going to send the 2-6 Bad Blood, the pivot from Philly, off to the box. Stadium Laney does come out completing a 3rd trip, making this a 12-point run. I-Roll with some blocking at the very bottom of the pack, staying in play against the Wolverine. That jam is over. It looks like staying near Laney putting up 4 more points. She's got a 16-point run. Wolverine did have 4 points on that jam, bringing New England to 70. Philly, 331. Now no Gus, no Glory back out there. And number 5, Mads, taking on Gus in this next jam. 3-4 pack in favor of New England. Philly starting this jam with their pivot in the box. Gus gets out with lead jammer. Now right behind Gus, number 5 for New England, Mads, is also out. Mads is picking up some speed behind Gus. Tenacious K working some defense in the bottom of that tripod. Tenacious K, I'm sorry, no, Mads unaffected. No Gus, no glory, is off on a penalty. So this is a power jam now in the hands of New England. Mads, not lead, but does have 4 points. So Gus losing lead for Philly. It's going to be a 2-minute jam. Bad blood with a rollback on Mads trying to buy the time for Gus to finish his time in the box. Philly stretching out a 3-wall at the bottom of the pack. Bad blood goes in, is taken out by Kai. So with Kai out of bounds, Mads can recycle with an incomplete pass. Gus finishes his time in the box and he comes around full speed ahead. And he's got 4 points, and he is not going to take that sitting down. He is coming around the track full speed ahead now. Just puts up another 4. Now here comes Gus again. There's a big hole on the inside. Gus is on. He's got 4 more points now. Racking him up with Gus coming out of the box. Mads comes in. Tenacious K guarding the inside line on the apex. Taking Mads out of bounds, forcing the recycle. Gus is in, has 4 more points. So Gus coming out of that penalty with a 16-point run. 20 seconds left to our jam. Bad blood called off on a stop block penalty. That's to put bad blood in the penalty box. No Gus, no glory with another 4. So Gus with a 20-point run. Mads has 4 points now. 8 points altogether for New England, and we time out at 2 minutes. It looks like 4 more points coming in. All said and done, the 24-point jam for no Gus, no glory, bringing Philly to 355. New England with a +8. They're at 78. Beasting taking on Elizabethan Tragedy, and Beasting taking on a bounce on the inside. Nice defense by Dubs. And New England reforms. Goldie Blocks with a block there on Beasting, but Beasting does break out with the Philly lead. Philly losing eye roll to the penalty box. And number 4, Elizabethan Tragedy is out. And for the first time in the game, we are jammer on jammer. Beasting just a stride ahead of Elizabethan Tragedy. Beasting is out now. So far, looking at 8 points, Elizabethan Tragedy coming out matches Beasting's 8 points, so our jammers going neck to neck. Beasting gets some block by Goldie Blocks at the top of the pack. Beasting breaks out with 4 more. Elizabethan Tragedy getting some blocking by Philly on the apex. Now Philly walling up with a tripod, keeping Tragedy stuck. Here comes Beasting though. Beasting dealing with a very strong wall at the top of the pack, held up by 7-7-3-4. That's Slayla. Beasting taken out and forced to the back to restart this pass. So both jammers now needing some defense. Slayla taking Beasting out of bounds. Once again, Beasting forced to recycle. And Beasting goes for the call-off. $15-point jam for Beasting brings Philly to 370. 11-point jam for New England. They're at 89. Just about 15 minutes left to our second half of the game. Coming out the jam. This is number 21, Pippa Raygun, I believe. Yes, Pippa Raygun taking on the Wolverine. Pippa Raygun gets to the top of the pack, and she is our lead jammer. Pippa Raygun, one of our Team USA skaters, headed to Brisbane, Australia here in June or July for JRDA World Cup. Pippa Raygun, the jammer now on her first scoring trip. She is in. She gets past Dush Kai with a classic bean dip move, and she is out. Pippa has the first 4 points. The Wolverine is out of bounds now and drawn to the back of the pack. Here comes Pippa on a second round of points. Just Kai taking Pippa Raygun out of bounds and forcing Pippa to recycle. Pippa recycles, gets in, moves to the left, getting around Dubs, and Pippa finishes her second scoring trip. Now she's looking at 8 points. Eye roll with some blocking on the Wolverine. Pippa comes in. I don't think anybody even looks at her. She is in and she's out. So she's now got 12 points for Philly. The Wolverine is out completing their initial pass. Nice apex jump there by Pippa. She's got another 4. So Pippa Raygun now with a 16-point run. 45 seconds left to our jam. Looks like Pippa is going to run out the clock. The Wolverine's got another 4 points. First 4 points of the jam. And Pippa Raygun with a 20-point jam against New England's 4. Philly at 390, New England 93. We only knew it was a matter of time until we saw Pippa Raygun jam. Pippa Raygun coming to Philly just a few months ago from the Pittsburgh Derby Brats, Western PA to Eastern PA. She's got those 20 points. I'm looking at Pippa right now, and she looks like she is just giving everything to that jam. She's having a seat now. Holly Block at 37 out the jam for Philly. Holly is lead jammer. Mads, number 5. We're at the star for the New England Riptide Riots. Mads stuck in the pack. Holly Blockett out with 4 points. Holly Blockett taking on that wall of New England blockers. Holly's out, though, with 4. Mads in the middle of what could be a star stash. No Gus, no glory, working some blocking. Mads takes a roll around Smashy Apia. Now Mads is out. Mads still has that star. No Gus, no glory, having a seat in the box as the pivot for Philly. So Mads able to score. Holly Blockett now with another 4 points, making this a 12-point jam. And Just Kai skates ahead, tries to take Holly Blockett out of bounds, but Holly stays stable on those skates. Holly taking on the bounce to the back of the pack. Philly breaking the 400-point mark in this jam by Holly Blockett. Mads working up against a 2-wall at the top of the pack. Looks like Tenacious K working that defense. And Mads is swallowed back in. Just Kai tries to take Holly out of bounds, but Just Kai was about half a stride behind. Holly stays on the skates, gets 20 points, and that jam is over. So 20 points by Holly Blockett, matching those 20 points by Pippa Raygun just a moment ago. Philly at 410. New England breaking that century mark. They're at 101. Timeout called by our officials. 11 minutes, 16 seconds left to our game. Bad Blood out now, taking on Wee Beastie. Rolling whistle brings us to the end of that timeout. I believe that was just to make sure a skater can get back up. We are 5-on-5 now. Our penalty box is clear. Bad Blood. We don't see Bad Blood jam a whole lot. But Bad Blood is out and does pick up lead for the Philly All-Stars. On the back of that lead, Bad Blood does have a +4. Beasting coming in. Steampunk doing some blocking. New England with a star pass over to Dubs. Bad Blood now with 8 points, coming in for a third scoring trip. Takes a bit of a spill there. And Bad Blood is out of bounds and is having a seat in the box along with friends number 180 eye roll. So New England with a power jam. Dubs takes a bit of a barrel roll on this outside of the track. Beasting with the rollback here on Dubs. And Dubs finds a hole on the inside. Dubs still in this power jam with 4 points, about to match Bad Blood's 4 points. Beasting though working the top of the pack. Dubs is out with 4 more, so it's an 8-8 jam. No chance for a call off with that penalty going over to Bad Blood. So it's a 2-minute jam, 22 seconds to go. Now Steampunk with some one-on-one block in there on Dubs. Beasting taken out of bounds by Wee Beastie. Dubs taken out and brought to the back by 3377 Beasting, just in time for that jam to come to an end. So all said and done, 3 more points rolling in for New England. 11-8 in favor of the Riptide Riots. If you couldn't tell, out to jam next for Philly, number 16, Stay in Your Laney. And timeout called by our officials just as that jam prepares to start. Number 4, Elizabethan Tragedy with the jammer star, and it is a 5-on-5 jam. Okay, that timeout coming to an end. We are back to our jam. This is jam 10. Stay in Your Lady taking on Elizabethan Tragedy. And Laney working her way to the top of the pack. She gets past Layla. Stay in Your Lady is our lead jammer. Elizabethan Tragedy stuck on this initial pass. Beasting, bracing that tripod. Slayla with some blocking on Laney. Laney keeps her toe stops in bounds. Slayla goes about 20 feet ahead of the pack. Lets Laney go. Laney has 4 points. Elizabethan Tragedy still stuck in this initial pass. Pippa Ray Gun and I roll working the back of that tripod. Laney coming in on her second scoring trip. Beasting, working some defense against Elizabethan Tragedy. New England's pivot with some 1v1 block and now turning into a 2-on-1 block. Again, Stainer Laney. Stainer Laney is still lead jammer, but she is giving that 2-wall everything she's got. And Stainer Laney is out. And she's got another round of 4 points to her name. Star stash, star pass possibly in progress by Elizabethan Tragedy. Looks like Elizabethan Tragedy might be looking for their pivot. Star pass is complete, though not fully understood yet. That is going to the Wolverine, who is taken back by Beasting. Stainer Laney putting up 4 more points on 3 scoring passes. Now Laney on a 4th scoring trip. Looks like Slayla goes in, but takes a bit of a spill, so Laney gets or stays on her skates, stays in bounds. She's got 16 points, and she calls off the jam. Laney getting a lot of love from our Philly Brawl Stars here. If you can hear it on the live feed, they're just to the right of me. There's Tackled Pink, Mayhem, Livid in there, Shortquake, Deathstone. And coming out the gym for the first time in this game, 444 Smashia Pia, who is also headed to Australia for JRDA Team USA. And Smashia Pia is out with a Philly lead. And Smash coming in. There's a hole on the outside. She gets through on her toe stops. And Smashia Pia has those 4 points. Wee Beastie has the jammer star for New England. But Wee Beastie is called off on a track cut. So this is a power jam for Smashia Pia. Smashia Pia getting up to the front, but just Kai working that defense. Smashia Pia is out there past Kai, and she's got another 4. So Smash now looking at 8-point jam and is on a power jam with Wee Beastie in the box for a track cut. So Smashia Pia coming in for a 3rd trip. And Smash Ketchum giving Smashia Pia 4 points. So Smashia Pia has 12 points, calling off the jam. 5.5 minutes left to our game. Now, looks like Philly is throwing it all out there on the jammer line in the second half of the game because I roll out to jam now against Wee Beastie. Philly currently at 446, New England 112. We have no lead jammer yet. I roll taking the bounce to the inside and recycled. Wee Beastie taken out by Chicky Kills. I roll making way to the top of the pack, gets past that 3-wall, and I roll picking up lead for the Philly All-Stars. Wee Beastie completing the initial pass just as I-Roll comes in for the first scoring trip of the game. Pippa Raygun having a seat in the box, taking 1 blocker off the track there for Philly. I-Roll with 4 points. Wee Beastie out with 4 points. I-Roll coming in, tries to get through on the inside, but Landshark takes a spill. I-Roll is going to recycle. Oh no, I-Roll is called off on a track cut and going to the box. That is now I-Roll joining Pippa Raygun. Pippa Raygun kind of laughing about whatever she's looking at. She's standing. Wee Beastie did take a spill, but is back up on their skates. So everything is going to be okay. Wee Beastie is just looks like taking a moment to catch their breath. Philly stretching out a 3 wall, the top of the pack. Just Kai coming in, breaking up that wall. Tenacious K takes a spill. Oh no, sorry, that's Chicky Kills takes a spill. Wee Beastie is put out of bounds to the outside. Eye roll, finishing up time, and comes back into the game. Penalty box clears. We're at 5-on-5, and Eye roll makes out with another 4 points. Not to be outdone, star pass over to Fright Tiger. Both jammers with 8 points, and neither one can call off the jam. 4 whistles brings us to the end. We are at 3 minutes left of the game. Philly sitting at 454, New England 120. And with 2.5 minutes left to our game, we are in a timeout here called by our officials. Just making sure that Wee Beastie can get back up on skates. Wee Beastie is going to get taken, looked at by our EMTs, but Wee Beastie skating over there with no problems. Everyone's going to be okay. 2:41 left to our game. Philly 454, New England 120. This is only game 1 today. We have a second game slated to start around the 4 p.m. mark. We may go a little bit over that because that's not a little less than 20 minutes from now. We have the Wolverine out to jam for New England and jamming for Philly. This is number 16, Stay in Your Laney. That whistle we heard ends the timeout. The skaters all at once took off on that whistle. Everyone's a little anxious. No harm done. We're going to regroup and do a 2.0 version of that jam. And that whistle is what starts the jam. Stay in Your Laney versus the Wolverine. Laney making her way to the top of the pack. She gets 2 whistles. Stay in Your Laney is our lead jammer. New England throwing all 4 blockers to Stay in Your Laney. Holly Blockett maintaining the pack right now. Holly Blockett coming in, making a hole for Stay in Your Laney. Nice offense by Holly Blockett because Laney is out with 4 points. Eye roll and Mills on Wheels now working in that pack, keeping the Wolverine stuck, but the Wolverine breaks out, completing an initial pass. Some 1v1 blocking. Let's see who's doing that. That is number 18, Dubs. Lines up face-to-face with Stay in Your Laney. Now Laney getting blocked by all 4 New England blockers. Laney gets up, is taken out by Dubs. Dubs recycles Laney to the back. Dubs actually getting stuck halfway through the pack. Avoids that wayward jammer by New England. Laney calls off the jam. So Laney has 4 points to her name. 1 point there for New England. Minute and a half left. Hey, there's some jammer love. A little bit of a hug there by our jammers. Our photographer lost a phone and kicked it over to tackle Pink. Soul Crusher, number 99, out to jam in what could be the last jam of our first game. A minute left to the period clock. Mads, number 5, taking on Soul Crusher from Philly. Mads breaks out. This is the 3rd lead in the game for New England. Mads is in control. Mads does go out of bounds, has a toe stop go out. So Holly Blockett is going to bring Mads all the way to the back, forcing Mads to restart this pass. Soul Crusher taking a break in the box right now, but is standing. So Soul Crusher soon coming back in. Mads gets past Tenacious K, Smash Diapia, and Holly Blockett walling up now. Tackle, I'm sorry, Tackle Pink joining in, bracing that 2-wall. Soul Crusher out of the box, gets around Just Kai, and Soul Crusher completes an initial pass, albeit not lead jammer. Mads still lead. Intensity definitely picks up, but Mads goes for the call off. End of the game, unofficial score, Philly 462, New England 125. As always, our jam referees will verify those points with our scorekeepers. Boom and Smash Ketchum are going over with our scorekeepers, making sure all the points look good. There's a thumbs up there by Smash Ketchum. Let's see Boom coming to us from Reading Roller Derby, who has a game next Sunday. Turning around, and it looks like we have the stage set. There is a final score and a rolling whistle. New England 125, but Philly taking home the win today, 464 points. I'm going to join in here on a high five. We've got about 12 minutes left to our next game. We're not sure if that's going to start on time or not, but stick with us because we have our second game of the day, our Brawl Stars playing. Of course, I wouldn't miss this.